Reading through the Bible in a year, April 26th, Numbers chapter 3, Psalm 37, Song of Solomon or Song of Songs chapter 1, and Hebrews chapter 1. Now, these are the records of the generations of Aaron and Moses at the time when Yahweh spoke with Moses on Mount Sinai. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, Nadab the firstborn, and Abihu, and Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the appointed priests whom he ordained to serve as priests. But Nadab and Abihu died before Yahweh when they offered strange fire before Yahweh in the wilderness of Sinai, and they had no children. So Eleazar and Ithamar served as priests in the lifetime of their father Aaron. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Bring the tribe of Levi near to me, and set them before Aaron the priest, that they may serve him. They shall perform the duties for him and for the whole congregation before the tent of meeting, to do the service of the tabernacle. They shall also keep all the furnishings of the tent of meeting, along with the duties of the sons of Israel, to do the service of the tabernacle. You shall thus give the Levites to Aaron and to his sons. They are wholly given to him from among the sons of Israel. So you shall appoint Aaron and his sons, so that they may keep their priesthood. But the layman who comes near shall be put to death." Again Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Now, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the sons of Israel, instead of every firstborn, the first issue of the womb among the sons of Israel. So the Levites shall be mine. For all the firstborn are mine. On the day that I struck down the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified to myself all the firstborn in Israel, from man to beast. They shall be mine. I am Yahweh." Then Yahweh spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, "Number the sons of Levi by their fathers' households, by their families. Every male from a month old and upward you shall number." So Moses numbered them according to the word of Yahweh, just as he had been commanded. These, then, are the sons of Levi by their name: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. This whole part's super important. It'll come up much later on in 2 Kings, but not 2 Kings, sorry, in 2 Samuel. It'll come up then, but it's just remember this part now. Continuing on. Not just this part, but the rest of the text of this chapter. These are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families: Libni and Shimei, or Shimei, and the sons of Kohath by their families: Amram and Izhar, Hebron and Uzziel, and the sons of Merari by their families: Mali and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to their fathers' households. Of Gershon was the family of the Libnites, and the family of the Shimeites. These were the families of the Gershonites. Their numbered men, in the numbering of every male from a month old and upward, even their numbered men was 7,500. The families of the Gershonites were to camp behind the tabernacle westward, and the leader of the fathers' households of the Gershonites was Eliasaph, the son of Lael. Now, the duties of the sons of Gershon in the tent of meeting involve the tabernacle and the tent, its covering, and the screen for the doorway of the tent of meeting, and the hangings of the court, and the screen of the doorway of the court, which is around the tabernacle and the altar, and its cords, according to all the service concerning them. Of Kohath was the family of the Amramites, and the family of the Ishrites, and the family of the Hebronites, and the family of the Uzzielites. These were the families of the Kohathites. Make sure I don't lose any notes here. Continuing on. And the numbering from every male from a month old and upward, there were 8,600, performing the duties of the sanctuary. The families of the sons of Kohath were to camp on the southward side of the tabernacle, and the leader of the fathers' households of the Kohathites, the Kohathite family, was Elizaphan, the son of Uzziel. Now their duties involved the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, and the utensils of the sanctuary with which they minister, and the screen, and all the service concerning them. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, was chief over the leaders of Levi, and had the oversight of those who perform the duties of the sanctuary. of Merari was the family of the Mahlites, and of the family of the Mushites. These were the families of Merari. Their numbered men, and the numbering of every male from a month old and upward, were 6,200. The leader of the fathers' households of the families of Merari was Zuriel, the son of Abihail. They were to camp on the northwest side of the tabernacle. Now, the appointed duties of the sons of Merari involved the frames of the tabernacle, its bars, its pillars, its sockets, and all its equipment, and the service concerning them, and the pillars around the court with their sockets and their pegs and their cords. Now, those who were to camp before the tabernacle eastward, before the tent of meeting toward the sunrise, are Moses and Aaron, his sons, performing the duties of the sanctuary for the obligation of the sons of Israel. But the layman coming near was to be put to death. All the numbered men of the Levites, whom Moses and Aaron numbered at the command of Yahweh by their families, every male from a month old and upward, were 22,000. Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Number every firstborn male from the sons of Israel, from a month old and upward, and make a list of their names. You shall take the Levites for me. I am Yahweh. Instead of all the firstborn among the sons of Israel, for the cattle of the Levites, instead of all the firstborn among the cattle of the sons of Israel." So Moses numbered all the firstborn among the sons of Israel, just as Yahweh had commanded him. And all the firstborn males by the number of names from a month old and upward, for their numbered men were 22,273. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the sons of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites, and the Levites shall be mine. I am Yahweh. For the ransom of the 273 of the firstborn of the sons of Israel, who are in excess beyond the Levites, you shall take 5 shekels apiece per head. You shall take them in terms of the shekel of the sanctuary. The shekel is 20 gerahs. And give the money, the ransom of those who are in excess among them, to Aaron and to his sons." Moses took the ransom money from those who were in excess, beyond those ransomed by the Levites. From the firstborn of the sons of Israel, he took the money in terms of the shekel of the sanctuary, 1,365. Then Moses gave the ransom money to Aaron and to his sons at the command of the Lord, just as Yahweh had commanded Moses. Now Psalm 37. Do not fret because of evildoers. Be not envious toward wrongdoers, for they will wither quickly like grass and fade like the green herb. Trust in Yahweh and do good. Dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. Delight yourself in Yahweh, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to Yahweh. Trust also in him, and he will do it. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light and your judgment as the noonday. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who carries out wicked schemes. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to wrongdoing. For evildoers will be cut off, but those who wait for Yahweh, they will inherit the land. Yet a little while, and the wicked man will be no more. And you will look carefully for his place, and he will not be there. But the humble will inherit the land, and will delight themselves in abundant prosperity. The wicked plots against the righteous, and gnashes at him with his teeth. The Lord laughs at him, for he sees his day coming. The wicked have drawn the sword and bent the bow to cast down the afflicted and the needy, to slay those who are upright in conduct. Their sword will enter their own heart, and their bows will be broken. Better is the little of the righteous than the abundance of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked will be broken, but Yahweh sustains the righteous. Yahweh knows the days of the blameless, and their inheritance will be forever. They will not be ashamed in time of evil. In the days of famine they will have abundance, but the wicked will perish. And the enemies of Yahweh will be like the glory of the pastures. They vanish, like smoke they vanish away. The wicked borrows and does not pay back. but the righteous is gracious and gives. For those blessed by him will inherit the land, but those cursed by him will be cut off. The steps of a man are established by Yahweh, and he delights in his way. When he falls, he will not be hurled headlong, because Yahweh is the one who holds his hand. I have been young and now am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his descendants begging bread. All day long he is gracious and lends, and his descendants are a blessing. Depart from evil and do good, so you will abide forever. For Yahweh loves justice, and he does not forsake his godly ones. They are preserved forever, but the descendants of the wicked will be cut off. The righteous will inherit the land and dwell in it forever. The mouth of the righteous utters wisdom, and his tongue speaks justice, and the law of his God is in his heart. His steps do not slip. The wicked spies upon the righteous and seeks to kill him. Yahweh will not leave him in his hand, or let him be condemned when he is judged. Wait for Yahweh and keep his way, and he will exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you will see it. I have seen a wicked, violent man spreading himself like a luxuriant tree in its native soil. Then he passed away, and lo, he was no more. I sought for him, but he could not be found. Mark the blameless man, and behold the upright, for the man of peace will have a posterity. But the transgressors will be altogether destroyed. The posterity of the wicked will be cut off, but the salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. It's from Yahweh. He is their strength in time of trouble. Yahweh helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them, because they take refuge in him. Now, Song of Songs, or Song of Solomon, chapter 1. Let's go ahead and read the introduction here. According to the most common interpretation, the Song of Solomon is a collection of love poems between a man and a woman, celebrating the sexual relationship God intended for marriage. God established marriage, including the physical union of a husband and wife, and Israelite wisdom literature treasures this aspect of marriage as the appropriate expression of human sexuality. Song of Solomon has also been understood as an illustration of the mutual love of Christ and his church. It is possible that Solomon, 10th century BC, is the author. However, this verse could mean that the song was dedicated to Solomon or was written about him, and therefore many scholars regard this book as anonymous. Let's begin. Verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. May he kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine, and your oils have a pleasing fragrance. Your name is like purified oil. Therefore the maidens love you. Draw me after you, and let us run together. The king has brought me into his chambers. I will rejoice in you and be glad. We will extol your love more than wine. Rightly do they love you. I am black but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not stare at me, because I am swarthy, for the sun has burned me. My mother's sons were angry with me. They made me caretaker of the vineyards, but I have not taken care of my own vineyard. Tell me, O you whom my soul loves, where do you pasture your flock? Where do you make it lie down at noon? For why should I be like one who veils herself beside the flocks of your companions? Solomon, the lover, replies, If you yourself do not know, most beautiful among women, go forth on the trail of the flock and pasture your young goats by the tents of the shepherds. To me, my darling, you are like my mare among the chariots of Pharaoh. Your cheeks are lovely with ornaments, your neck with strings of beads. I will make for you ornaments of gold with beads of silver. While the king was at his table, My perfume gave forth its fragrance. My beloved is to me a pouch of myrrh, which lies all night between my breasts. My beloved is to me a cluster of henna blossoms in the vineyards of Engedi. How beautiful you are, my darling! How beautiful you are! Your eyes are like doves. How handsome you are, my beloved, and so pleasant. Indeed, our couch is luxuriant. The beams of our houses are cedars, our rafters cypresses. Now on to Hebrews chapter 1. Let's go and read the introduction here. The letter to the Hebrews was written to encourage Christians in a time of trial. It does so by focusing on the absolute supremacy and sufficiency of Jesus Christ. While God spoke in the past many times and in many ways, he has now spoken to us by his Son, Jesus Christ, who is the exact imprint of God's nature and who upholds the universe by the word of his power. Jesus accomplished complete salvation for all who trust in him. We dare not neglect such a great salvation. Rather, in our faith and in our everyday living, we should imitate the example of Christ and of those on the honor roll of faith. This letter, whose author is unknown, was probably written between AD 60 and 70. Now, there are a lot of people who will say that this book was written by John and just not not John, but Paul, but just not signed by him. It does certainly sound like a letter that Paul would have written. In fact, you'll see that. However, Paul, being a member of the Sanhedrin, of the Pharisees, memorized basically all of Scripture, or all the Scripture that was available at the time, which to us would have been the Old Testament. So he doesn't struggle with naming things. Paul wouldn't simply say, well, it was said at some time in the past. Paul would simply tell you when it was said and who it was who said it. So when we see those things in here, we know that it wasn't likely written by him. Now, in the past, I've said my thought is that it was Tychicus who wrote it, who was a companion of his, who was not a Jewish person. He was a Gentile. It's believed he may not have been a Gentile, but he at least has a Greek name, a Greek or Roman name. And so because of this, it is written from a distinctly Jewish mindset. It is written to the Hebrews, and it's written from a Hebrew mindset, especially when we get deeper into the woods later on in the reading itself, as we get through discussions about the temple service itself and what that looks like. However, it could very well be that it was actually written by Tychicus, or maybe another one of Paul's companions, because Tychicus could have been a member of the Jews who were cast out and were living among the Greeks. All that said, let's go ahead and just begin. Verse 1. God, after he spoke long ago to the fathers and the prophets in many portions and in many ways, in these last days has spoken to us in his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, through whom also he made the world. And he is the radiance of the glory and the exact representation of his nature, and upholds all things by the word of his power. When he had made purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. Having become as much better than the angels, he has inherited a more excellent name than they. For to which of the angels did he, God the Father, ever say, "You are my Son, and today I have begotten you"? And again, "I will be a father to him, and he shall be a son to me." And when he again brings the firstborn into the world, he says, "And let all the angels of God worship him." And of the angels, he says, "Who makes his angels winds, and his ministers a flame of fire." But of the Son, he says, "Your throne, O God, is forever and ever. and the righteous scepter is the righteous scepter of his kingdom. You have loved righteousness and hated lawlessness. Therefore, God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness above your companions. And you, Yahweh, in the beginning laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the works of your hands. They will perish, but you will remain, and they will all become old like a garment. Like a mantle, you will roll them up. Like a garment, they will also be changed. But you are the same, and your years will not come to an end. But to which of the angels has he ever said, "Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet"? Are they not all ministering spirits sent out to render service for the sake of those who will inherit salvation? Again, there are just a ton of notes in this entire book. As usual, I strongly recommend pausing and reading them all. They are utterly amazing and very helpful. All right, that's it. That's all the reading and all of the notes for today. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold the word of the Lord.